to present a lesson for when the young men take to try and do the evening services. I said I guess I could. So tonight I'm going to be talking about loving your enemies. It's something that we know we need to do, but I know myself, and I feel like a lot of people fail to do so. And so I decided that I was going to prepare a lesson not just for y'all, but for myself. And so when I started thinking on how we should properly love our enemies, I first thought of, well, what truly is love? And though multiple coaches around the world have tried to figure out what that is, one of my favorites being the Greek's idea where love has multiple meanings, but I decided to use the biblical understanding of what love is found in 1 Corinthians 13, verses 4 through 7. If you have your Bibles, would you please go to 1 Corinthians 13, verses 4 through 7. Love suffers long and is kind. Love does not envy. Love does not parade itself, is not puffed up, does not behave rudely, does not seek its own, is not provoked, thinks no evil, does not rejoice in iniquity, but rejoices in the truth, bears all things, believes all things, hopes all things, endures all things. One of my favorite parts of that is found in verse 6 when it says, love seeks the truth. It looks for what is true, not what it wants. And I feel like that is not only that is a great thing for us to do as not only Christians, but as people. We should seek the truth in people. And we should also do all the things that is mentioned here. We should not go around boasting about ourselves, but we should be humble. And not only humble, but we should also be kind. We should not envy for things, but we should want others to have things. We should want others to feel safe, and should be patient. And with that patience, with that kindness, with that truth, with all of that, it gives us love. Now that we have a good understanding of what love is, how do we love our enemies? Well, we just be good people to them. We should go out there, we should try to be kind, we should try to be generous, we should try to be understanding. We should keep our anger as small as possibly can be while they are trying to get us to the breaking point. We should be calm, and we should show patience, and we should show kindness. And to show that kindness, we need to show so much more. We need to show what is good. We need to show what is true. We need to give out good things. And located in Acts 7, verses 60, is a good way to show kindness. In Acts, during the latter parts of Acts, from Acts 7, 54 through 60, it is the stoning of Stephen. And what I love about this part is what Stephen asks God to do. As he's being stoned and he sees heaven and he sees Jesus standing at the right-hand side of God, he asks the Lord not to put the sin on the people that are stoning him. He gives them forgiveness. He gives them love. When Jesus is on the cross, he asks God not to blame them, for they don't know what they are doing. When Paul is arrested, instead of being angry towards the Romans, he sings praises to God. And the entire prison that he's in crumbles down. And instead of running away and escaping, not only does he stay, but all the prisoners stay, which showed mercy to the Roman guard, who would have in that case been Paul's enemy, and showing that nobody had left, that everybody had stayed there. It showed mercy and it showed love. When we sow love, we should also sow more than love. We should sow kindness and empathy. We should sow all things that God views as merciful and as righteous. We should sow all things that God views as redeemable and true. We should sow things that God views as powerful and something to be wealthy in. And one last area that I want to look at is found in John. John 8, chapters 1 through 12. This is personally one of my favorite parts of the Bible. This is when Jesus is teaching and the Pharisees bring a woman that is caught in the act of adultery to him and ask, "Teacher, Master, what should we do to this woman? For the law of Moses says we should have her stoned." And in most cases, what I would have done is I would have gone back to earlier when just the day prior they had called Jesus blasphemer, and when they do this, they call him Master. This is so hypocrisy, and Jesus could have called them out. Jesus could have gone, "Well, yesterday you called me blasphemer, and today you call me Master. You're being hypocrites." But instead what Jesus does is he kneels down, and he starts writing something in the sand, in the ground. And what I find fascinating about that is, it doesn't matter what he wrote, but what I like to think is, it draws the attention from the Pharisees and the woman to Jesus. And then what he did was, he would get up, and he said, "He who is without sin, let him cast the first stone." And all of those woman's accusers, they left. And they left the woman standing there with a crowd of people that were being taught by Jesus. And Jesus asked her, "Woman, where are your accusers?" And this woman replies with, "Well, I don't have any." And Jesus goes, "Well, I do not accuse you either. Go and sin no more." And then right after that, we get one of the I am statements found in John chapter 8, verse 12. Then Jesus spoke to them again, saying, "I am the light of the world. He who follows me shall not walk in darkness, but have the light of life." Jesus showed love not only to the woman who was being accused, but to the Pharisees, as he could have caught up their hypocrisy. But instead, he took matters into a simple way and just said, "Okay, if you are not a part of this, if you did not take part, because they had to clearly be watching this woman doing this, they had to have been watching for them to be able to catch her in the act and then bring her to Jesus. And all Jesus did was, he didn't accuse them. All he did was ask them, "Okay, if you are not a part of this, you may go first." So what can we do to help our enemies? We could give to them, spend time with them, ask them why they don't like us, ask them why they hate us, go out of their way to try to make our lives miserable. We could, while doing that, also try to help bring them to God if they aren't with God. We could try to bring them to Him. We could pray for them. We could give to them. We could do so much to them. That's just a small amount of what we could do. We could move heaven and earth just for them, just to show we don't hate them, just to show that just because they are my enemy doesn't mean I'm going to treat them like my enemy. I'm going to treat them like someone else. For how am I going to love God who I don't see, but hate someone I do see? How am I going to give to God, the one above all, the God that created the heavens and the earth, the God who is love? How am I going to serve Him or there is someone who I can see and interact with in this physical world that I hate. And I feel like while going through this, while researching and learning about this, I feel like I found something that had helped me. Don't view people as your enemy. View people as your family. Thank you for your time.